Hi, good morning. Welcome from the sunny Southland. Greetings. Feels kind of strange looking into a camera and talking. But anyway, I'm your host, Uncle Earl. This is the Surviving and Thriving channel. Uh, Thriving while Surviving channel. This morning I'd like to talk about some of the hypocrisy and some of the snobbery that I see among the communities, the prepper community, the survivalist, the bushcraft community, even people who don't embrace any of that stuff have a certain snobbery about them, or they dismiss it, think preppers are all crazy. They have basements with 10 years of food hoarded up and enough ammo to start a war on their own, and that survivalists are people who are going to go out and live in a hole in the ground and hunt animals and eat roots when the world comes to an end through Armageddon or what have you. There's some extreme views there, and there are some extreme people out there. And somewhere there's a happy place for people to be, because in reality, we're all preppers. You prep to go on vacation. You prep to go to work every morning. If you prepare for anything, then you are a prepper. You prep, you prepare, by just the very definition of it itself. I think sometimes people who are called preppers are viewed as being extreme preppers, but it depends on what you want to be prepared for. Makes common sense. Like where I live, we get a nice storm every few years. It breaks down power lines. We do without electricity for several days. The roads are so icy you can't get out and travel on them, even with a four-wheel drive. Uh, with chains, it's questionable because some of the grades are so steep, even with chains, you can't travel on those roads. So it makes sense to be prepared for that ice storm that inevitably is going to come every few years. And so I keep enough food to do me for a week or maybe a month, at least a week. I have set for 2 weeks without electricity, and because I have some gas, I was able to keep some heat, some things like that going on. And I use kerosene lamps, things like that, to light my house at night. But I prepare for that storm that's going to inevitably come every few years. And it may last from 1 day to 3 days to like the most extreme one we had, which was 2 weeks. You go 14 days without electricity in your home and without running water, and you can get in some trouble. So yes, I do prepare for that. Beyond that, I think the capacity that this country has to suffer some kind of economic loss or a sudden jolt that would put you in a place where you wouldn't want to be. I think the likelihood of something like that happening, coming along, is pretty good. If you think about it, what is the likelihood of you losing your job? If you look at the job turnover in the economy today, what is the likelihood of you losing your job and then not being able to get gainful employment back at the level that you previously had enjoyed? What's going to happen? Are you going to become homeless? Is your family going to starve? You certainly can't live off the little unemployment checks they give us. So it makes sense to prepare and have some money set aside for those times, because everyone saves not because you might have an emergency and something might happen. You actually save because something will happen, and you will have an emergency. You will have a unexpected breakdown with an automobile, unexpected repair to your home, an appliance that has to be replaced out of the blue. So people should have some savings to cushion against those type of things that inevitably will happen. If you do that, then you are a prepper by definition. You're preparing for those things that can happen and can come along, and that only makes common sense. Now, there's a lot of information as to the best way to prep for certain things. These people who are what you call doomsday preppers, when they think there's going to be this battle of Armageddon, then that may not be a very practical thing, but if they've prepped for the 3-day ice storm and they've prepped for the inevitable breakdown of things, it's saved for the rainy days, and they've prepped for the 2-week ice storm, they've prepped for, you may get civil unrest like you saw in Ferguson, Missouri, or Boston, a bomber like you saw, some of these terrorist situations that come about, or this civil unrest that happens here, there, and yonder in the country, and everybody thinks it won't happen in their state, in their town. Who would have thought something like it for a little town like Ferguson, Missouri would become, the eye of the nation would be on them. And you take a city as big and prominent as Baltimore and Boston and places like that, you would think that no, it can't happen there, but it does, and it has. And so maybe you need to be prepared to protect your home and shelter in your home. So then once you get past that, then what's next? Once you're prepared for the most likely scenarios that can happen to you or your family, and you want to protect yourself and your loved ones, then you should prepare for that next thing that's a little less likely to happen, but it could. That's where you may want to look, and some people draw the line there. If it's so slim a chance of it happening, I just don't really need to prepare for it. So that's up to you. Each person can make up their own mind. But that's some of the question there. I mean, the snobbery that's out there. The people who are doomsday preppers think the rest of the world is crazy because they don't prep for Armageddon. And people who would definitely pack and plan for vacation, prep for vacation, think the doomsday preppers are nutcases. They may even think some of the people who plan for the hurricanes and the ice storms and the tornadoes, the civil unrest, are a little bit crazy. But take each day as it comes. That's fine. None of us are going to get out of this alive anyway. But why leave before you have to? Anyway, that's kind of a wrap for this one, because this is just a test video that will never see the airwaves. It will never see the internet. It's just a test video. The first one I'm doing to get a grip on how to edit these videos and see how they turn out. So, until next time, surround yourself with people you love, work that you love, and a cause that you believe in. Good day.